I picked it up and ran to town as happy as a king. I took it to a guy I knew who'd buy most anything. But this is what he hollered at me as I walked in his shop.
Everybody, listen carefully. The Martians are coming this way. We must evacuate the city. Take food and water and extra clothing with you.
You are no longer in control of your listening device.
Can't you see that you're at the mercy of every element of the universe?
Rick and Ryan will take you on a science fiction cinematic journey into the post-atomic space age.
We're not going to cooperate with these monsters.
We found a flying saucer. Just a minute, ladies and gentlemen. I think something is happening.
A chronological deep dive into the past.
Holy cow.
Here already! You're next!
Put on your magnetic boots.
Let's go.
And strap yourselves in for your ride with...
The Unidentified Flying Podcast.
Outrageous.
After weeks of dragging ass through the reaches of deep space, the Lexapodius 4 has regenerized their energy crystals and finally come face to face with a genuine stone cold classic film.
The Thing from Another World, also known as The Thing.
Which they had to retitle it. They retitled it From Another World because I guess there was a famous song at the time called The Thing.
Great.
Anyway.
Directed by Christian Nyby.
Nyby?
Is it Nyby?
It is.
Okay.
Yeah, Christian Nyby. I don't know how to pronounce it. But
It is. I don't know how to pronounce it, but it is.
Well, it is directed by him.
No, that's what... Never mind. Directed by Christian Nyby. Screenplay by Charles Lederer, with uncredited contributions from Howard Hawks and Ben Hecht, based on the 1938 novella Who Goes There by John W. Campbell Jr., starring Margaret Sheridan, Kenneth Tobey, Robert Cornthwaite, and Douglas Spencer. The Thing from Another World tells the story of a bunch of people freezing their ass off in Anchorage, Alaska, and a reporter shows up for no reason because he heard there might be a story, but never mind. Okay, I'm trying to think. All of a sudden, like, what is this actually about? No.
Well,
Scientists
The Thing from Another World is...
Scientists in Anchorage, Alaska discover a crashed flying saucer. And when they attempt to unearth the saucer from the ice, they end up blowing it up. And in the explosion, discover a frozen humanoid creature. So they dig out the frozen humanoid creature, drag him back to their lab, and then argue over what to do with him until some dummy throws an electric blanket on him for some reason and melts the ice, and the creature gets out. And terror and havoc ensue.
Okay, well, I'll stop you right there because I don't think it's so willy-nilly that he put... I think that's actually a kind of a clever setup of how they come about with the blanket.
Why?
Because it's mentioned that they brought the blanket in for one of the guards because they post guards to stand by the big block of ice that the creature is in.
Yeah.
And they're keeping it cold in there, and it's cold, so they bring coffee and a blanket, and he says to him, it's not really that foreshadowy, but he says to him, it's okay. I brought him a blanket and coffee, an electric blanket and whatnot. So what it is that the guy who's guarding it is looking, because as the ice is like clearing up a little from the snow on it and all that, they're able to see the creature's face, and its eyes are open, and it's freaking him out. So the other guy who takes over for the shift, it kind of gets freaked out, and he's like, ugh. So he grabs the blanket, throws it over it to cover it, but he doesn't realize that there's a cord going out, and it's plugged in because it's the electric blanket they brought the other guy. So I think that's kind of a clever, or at least an okay setup. It's not like he did it for, who knows why. I'm just saying. That's all I'm saying.
Really? I don't agree with you, but
Why are you eating during the podcast?
because I thought you were still going to talk. I was trying to sneak one in before you finished, but you finished.
He's eating a Fat Boy ice cream sandwich in honor of the icy
Okay, so this is what I disagree with you on, though. It's the only time in the script I feel like it's lazy writing. Like, I just don't buy that they'd be that stupid to not, when he picks it up, to not know it's an electric blanket and then throw it on ice.
Okay,
like, it's I get it that he's like, oh, I'm scared, I'm gonna cover up his face, but I don't know, that to me seemed like a lazy. Although I don't know, I haven't read the novella.
Sure, we have
it's
to have a
based
movie,
on.
though.
So, have you read the novella?
No, I was going to, and I didn't have a time to.
No, that's fine. I just wonder if the electric blanket's in the novella, because then if it is, then
I
it's
don't know.
it's canon, and I'm stupid.
But if any of this sounds familiar, The Thing from Another World, it's because it was remade into a very famous, became famous over the course of time, movie by John Carpenter from 1982 with Kurt Russell. And I'm that nerd that when someone says, man, I watched The Thing the other day, and I'm like, the original? And they go, yeah. And then they're talking about that one, and I'm like, no, that's the remake. But this is the original film from 1951. Any of the subsequent movies based on the source material, who goes there? The main difference, of course, is it's a shapeshifter that assumes the shape of, can be your friend, your brother, and I think it can multiply and whatnot. And the only thing it really does is that it's vegetable based. And I knew this when I was a kid. I remember just everyone, the giant carrot man, or whatever.
Yeah.
Everyone always said that as a kid, but
he was an evil super carrot.
Yeah, and it does kind of have like replicating capabilities in a sense that, like, if a piece of it gets cut off, it's still kind of alive and trying to reattach itself to it or something. I can't remember it doesn't grow into another thing. It just
but it's seeds. It has seeds.
Yeah,
it's not necessarily seeds, but it has seed-like things that come out, and then they because they harvest
itself.
Well, they harvest the seeds from the arm. Is what I'm trying to say, and then they grow them into these little alien plants that kind of beat like a heart, but like it's kind of cool because they stick a stethoscope to one at one point, and they hear it sounds like a baby crying or a cat mewing.
Yeah,
so
really
it
cool.
definitely can like replicate itself because it's a vegetable. So it has seeds that grow more things,
regrow itself. Yeah,
but I think calling it a giant carrot is funny.
Yeah, giant carrot man. If you're a fan of the remake, the Kurt Russell version, don't poo-poo this one, because this one is really good. It's got the Howard Hawks touch, and that's a bit of controversy in itself with Howard Hawks, very famous director. He produced it, and it kind of has a little bit of kind of foreshadowing the Steven Spielberg, Tobe Hooper controversy with Poltergeist on who really directed it. Some people claim Hawks directed it, but Christian Nyby, his quote actually about when asked about it is like, did Hawks direct it? That's one of the most inane and ridiculous questions I've ever heard, and people keep asking. This is a man I studied and wanted to be like. You would certainly emulate and copy the master you're sitting under, which I did. Anyway, if you're taking painting lessons from Rembrandt, you don't take the brush out of the master's hands. That was his answer. And I can understand that
Sure.
standpoint. Because it does have Hawks' fingerprints all over it.
Well, and something I like is as far as Hawks' contribution was it's something that Robert Altman would make
absolutely
famous years later, is he encouraged his actors to talk over each other and to cut each other off mid-sentence.
And it's really noticeable in this movie because it came from like screwball comedies that Hawks did, but in this, for this kind of movie, I feel like it just comes alive in a way that a lot of these movies don't. And it's because the characters
they're more naturalistic.
They're fun. They feel real.
Yeah.
Like there's funny moments in it, but not like haha funny like jokes, but like just funny moments that happen out of having very well drawn characters.
Yeah.
They kind of pick at each other and make fun of each other and jib and jab at each other. And
they feel lived in. Like you feel like as soon as you meet them, you feel like, yeah, okay, these people have known each other forever. There's no forced camaraderie. There's no forced banter.
The dialogue is so good in this movie.
It just almost at times feels like you're eavesdropping.
What do you hear from the general, Scotty?
Oh, I hear General Fogarty's nursing his secrets like a June bride.
You know, I got an idea. There's a guy in Seattle who knows a whole radar defense story. Loves to talk. General McLaren. Now, you tell General Fogarty you want to go to Seattle, and Pat and I'll fly you there.
I met General McLaren, too.
It's warm in Seattle. They got girls there. Without fur pants on.
What about it, Captain?
That could be right.
You'll never be able to shoo our captain southward with his heart wrapped around the North Pole.
That'll do, Mr. McPherson.
What's going on at the North Pole?
Some scientists are holding a convention up there.
Looking for polar bear tails.
Ever hear of Dr. Carrington?
The fellow who was at Bikini?
The same. Well, they're holding about 2,000 miles north of here, a whole bunch. Botanists, physicists,
Including a
electronic...
pinup girl. Very interesting type, too.
Very. Captain Henry can give you any data you want on
sure.
her.
Ken, you probably shouldn't have said that. You know how to
After I read
Now,
that.
look. Someday I hope to have a navigator and a co-pilot or at least drive behind the ears.
Oh, Captain.
It's exactly what Robert Altman would become famous for doing. MASH, especially. The Player does that. Shortcuts. A lot of it. I mean, most of his movies have that. And it's, it either frustrates the hell out of you or you just get in the vibe and enjoy it. I've learned to enjoy it over the years.
Yeah. Certain actors have a hard time with it, with doing it. But one of the things that I like about the movie too is what can be so stale in some of these 50s movies is the love plot. But the love plot in this is so fresh and it's so their banter is so good.
It just feels normal. It just feels like they don't. They
have a history.
It's like, they have a history, but they don't really go into the history. You just sense the history
flashes
from the chemistry.
I think Dr. Carrington wants to see you.
Dr. Carrington's going to have to wait. I want to talk to you.
What
It was
about?
a downright dirty trick you played on me.
Now, Pat, don't lose your temper.
Why did you do it? Just tell me why.
Well, your legs aren't very pretty, and
You
I
didn't have to write it on a note and put it on my chest. Other people got up before I did.
I'm sorry, Pat.
At least
I really
6
didn't
people
mean...
read that note before I woke up. Now the whole Air Force is laughing at me.
Not so loud. They'll hear you.
They probably already heard. The only place it hasn't been is on a billboard.
Ooh, I didn't know you had such a nasty temper. Now, Pat, just careful. Now, take it easy. Now, wait a minute. We had a lot of fun when you were up here. And then when you asked me down to Anchorage, you deliberately fed me a lot of...
Tell me something. Did you really drink all those drinks?
Mm-hmm.
You didn't throw any away or anything? Not a one?
No.
Holy cat.
The two actors do a great job just delivering that. So I agree with you because I'm the first usually to pinpoint exactly how much I detest the romantic subplots in these movies.
That's why I thought of bringing that up, is because you really aren't into those kinds of subplots.
Ugh.
I mean, and not like I am either all the time, but no, this one, it really totally works. I would even say there's a slight kink factor to it. Because there's there's this little bit of kind of playfulness about being tied up, with them. So there's just this real slight, it's not dirty kink or anything, but there is that little overtone.
All right.
And you're grinning ear to ear. You can't hold yourself. Why?
No,
What
I'm
it's
not
an
even
observation.
gonna. That's fine. That's great.
Okay.
I don't know.
But okay. Well, hey.
I like the way you handle this whole mess, Pat.
Yeah, I just as soon not. No, it's funny. I'm glad I was here.
I am, too. You're much nicer when you're not mad.
Sounds promising. How about that business of beginning over again?
Well, I think I'll buy you a drink this time. I think you've earned it. That is, if you want one.
You can tie my hands if you want them.
That might not be such a bad idea.
You mean that?
Well, you suggested it.
All right, I'll bring a rope.
I really like their relationship quite a bit. And Ken Tobey is so good in the movie, just as being the guy in charge, but he's not like uber sure of himself. He's not like such a hard ass. He's very vulnerable and like very
down to earth
with his subordinates.
Yeah.
You know, and they all kind of poke fun at each other. I like the one part where Scotty, the news reporter, is like watching him and he's shaving and he's like, "What are you doing that for? You'll never look pretty to me," or something like that, you know?
Yeah.
If I ever had any negative about the movie, I would say a couple things. I would say that
Electric Blanket.
I think there's I think that's a fine part. In fact, it's one of the 50 greatest moments of all time. Anyway, no.
Leave us a message in the comments if you agree. Electric Blanket? No electric blanket.
Perfect foreshadowing or not? I think so. But anyway, if there was anything that I find maybe that detracts from the movie is I think there's a few too many characters.
Yeah.
Like there's another woman in the movie the entire time.
Yeah.
And you only see her like once or twice and she doesn't really do anything.
Yeah.
And there's so many characters that it just gets a little muddled where that's where Carpenter had pared it down to where we really get a feel for like the 7 people that are there. This there's a lot of people.
There's like 8 in this one. Like God.
No, there's more than that. There's shut up. Anyway. But like they don't even credit a lot of the actors that are in the movie. They only credit like a handful.
Well, RKO wasn't exactly one of the most, you know.
And I don't think we actually
rich
did go
studios.
over. Oh yeah, you did go over the cast. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, RKO was generally a cheaper studio, so I think there was probably just a lot of, you know, limited budget concerns. You know, what are people coming to pay to see? They're coming to see the Thing, not the guy he killed. You know, so
well,
I
it's
think
very reserved. I mean, they don't show the Thing very much, and
it's
that's
minimal.
the only other. It's the only other negative, not negative really, but like anytime you see the Thing outside of the movie, like either, you know, media, press, you know, merch, whatever, you see it. That I don't think the makeup, like I've never really been sold on what the Thing looks like, but thankfully the movie kind of knows that the makeup and the design of what the Thing looks like, they know it's kind of goofy, so it's always shot from like farther away or
it's shadowy. There's a lot of shadows over it.
Yeah, they kind of keep it brief, so it's effective. And of course, the Thing is played by that tasty Matt Dillon,
stalwart, manly man, James Arness.
Yeah, James Arness, who famously did not go to the premiere because he was embarrassed by his role as the Carrot Man.
I want to stop you right there, James Arness, because if you remember last episode, we talked about a little movie you made called Two Lost Worlds. Yeah. And if you were willing to go to the premiere of that, but not the Thing,
what's wrong with you? Yeah.
I'm just going to leave an ellipses there because there's no way in hell I could beat you up. A, because you're dead. And B, because when you were alive, you're like...
There is a way you could beat him up then.
No, because when he was alive, he was like he's like 3 times as tall as me, so I'm not going to fight.
Probably not anymore because he's shriveled as
I
he's,
just said when
corpse.
he was alive.
Anyway.
So, James Arness, you have nothing to be embarrassed about. The creature is great.
Movie.
I love it. I love his makeup. I love all about it. I do agree with you though that they do the right thing in being minimal with it and covering it with shadow, and that's fine. But I still love the makeup. But there are some iconic, totally iconic. What I usually call the alien's entry moment. You know, that first shot of the alien. You know, how good is it? Some movies, it's kind of like, whoa, was that the alien? I missed it because it's, you know, Like, you hardly ever get to see the Saucermen and Invasion of the Saucermen, and that's why you go. You want to see those fucking Brussels sprouts heads in
the spare,
that you see on the poster, but you don't get to that much in the movie. Whereas, like, this one has just a great intro, not just a quick flash of a flashlight, and and then what I'm getting at is the scene where
they make use of its minimalism,
where they hear him outside the barracks, and so they turn off the lights, and the thing rips open the door, and the way it's framed is just, I'm gonna say, is probably in the top 20 most iconic shots of this era.
Yeah, where they set it on fire.
Well, that's that scene.
1.8. Come on, push buttons. 1.9. The needles hit the top.
It's one of the first full body fire stunts.
Yeah.
At that time,
And it's kind of when you watch it now, because you're so used to like CG and stuff now, when you go back, because I was just watching this afternoon.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot of fire in that little room. Like, they really go for
in
it.
that little room area.
Yeah. I was like,
the part where it like swipes at the girl who's got the mattress.
Watch it, Captain!
As it tears part of the mattress out, it's bursting into flames.
Yeah.
Yeah. For a second, I was like, wait a minute, is that chick on fire?
Yeah, if you've never seen it before, this is one of the great pyro moments.
It's really good
in a movie, because they just
the whole
there's
set
no
comes on
this
fire.
Is all practical, so it's just like
and it's
whoosh.
like the real actors there.
Yeah,
and it's like, holy crap, there's fire everywhere.
Yeah, no, it's fantastic.
So much can be said about this movie,
and has been, to be fair,
and has been. Well, a few things about the cast, though. Well, Ken Tobey is the star, of course, and he went on to. Once again, there should be like a Joe Dante count.
Yeah.
Honestly, how many times Joe Dante's name comes up.
Yeah.
But Joe Dante put him in pretty much every one of his earlier movies. And he, sadly, some of these actors get pigeonholed into movies that are exclusively sci-fi revival movies of like the 50s. Like Ken Tobey was in. There was a movie called Strange Invaders.
Yeah.
That's kind of a send up of 50s science fiction and the early 80s. But I think if you're a Joe Dante fan, like his most like memorable as far as in his movies is he's the guy that Billy's dad, Hoyt Axton, tries to sell the smokeless ashtray to.
Yeah.
In Gremlins. But he's just got a great Hollywood face, just a real character actor from back then. And of course he did the rounds on, just tons of.
Well, we were talking about Inner
television
Space
and whatnot. Inner Space.
So I wanted to bring up, because Kenneth Tobey has a great cameo in this movie.
Is that the person you were talking about?
Yeah. And it's, if you've seen Inner Space, it's the scene where him and Martin Short are in the men's room. And he thinks Martin Short's talking to his dick.
Oh, that's right. I haven't seen that in a while.
Oh, no, you didn't do so bad. She's a tough cookie.
Yeah, well, she's a beautiful tough cookie. You're a lucky guy.
What's that supposed to mean?
Nothing. I hate this. Why can't we just tell her the truth? She might even believe us.
No. Besides, it's humiliating being this small.
What's so bad about being small? I mean, you're not going to be small forever.
Play with it, pal. Don't talk to it.
Who was that?
Never mind.
I like when like Joe Dante does that is if you're gonna cast these, older stars in it, give them a memorable line or scene, because don't just waste them. And he's great at doing that, because he's always finds some clever way, I think, of working in like a cameo that's at least worth doing.
Some of the other actors in it, the man who played Dr. Carrington, and that's the doctor, of course, that he's not really a douche, but he's the doctor who, he doesn't see dollar signs, but he's no, you can't do this, because we at one point he says something about like, we owe it to,
The human
mankind
mind.
to give our lives.
He says knowledge
for this.
is more important than life.
Yeah, than
and
our
he's
lives.
ready to
Yeah.
sacrifice the entire base. He even tells him that none of us deserve to live.
Yeah,
And-
none of us.
Yeah, so he's a little crazy. He kind of looks like a cult leader. Or an ex-Nazi. Like he's got some weird,
And he's-
yes, the Third Reich was great to me. And now
Yeah.
I'm an American and I work here. And
Well, so does the guy who plays Scotty. Scotty's got a very great that kind of look too. But no, the actor that played Dr. Carrington was Robert Cornthwaite. I don't know if I'm saying that correctly, but he went on to do a lot of movies. He'll probably come up a few times, but in the podcasts, future episodes. But like he was in War of the Worlds. He's in the sequel to Westworld, Future World. He was in Whatever Happened to Baby Jane. Weirdly, he's Professor Blount in Dr. Detroit.
Mom, I am going to rip off your head and shit down your neck.
Douglas Spencer, who plays the reporter Scotty, he's also a guy who pops up later in, he plays the Monitor in This Island Earth.
Yeah.
And the funny guy in the movie, I mean, it's not like he's jokey, but he'll kind of say the character's name is Mac. That actor went on to be, which I found weird, he was the minister in So I Married an Axe Murderer.
That's random. That is really random.
Another thing that is very iconic about this movie is the opening title reveal.
Yes.
It was also the inspiration for how they do the titles of the opening title in Secret of NIMH, which I was like, oh yeah, they do that kind of thing with the light shining through and kind of burning through the screen. The thing was pretty iconic at the time when it came out, or very popular, that even Jackie Gleason did a comedy sketch based on the Thing called Son of Thing for a show called Cavalcade of Stars. I tried to track it down. I couldn't find it, but I guess that happened.
Yeah, all right.
Shut up.
So neither of us have read the story. So,
Nope.
I should take that back. I have read it, but it was years ago, and I do not remember how close it is to what this and that and forever thing. I don't know. So I cannot with any expertise vouch for that. So you're basically just getting our opinions based solely on the movie in and of itself, not as an adaptation. Okay. I thought I would mention this because in case anyone is curious to read that story, although you can probably find it in better, in its own select editions than this. But what I have is a book that was compiled by Forrest J. Ackerman on behalf of the Sci-Fi Channel. This was, I think, in the late 90s. Yeah, late 90s. And what it is a collection. It's called Science Fiction Classics, the stories that morphed into movies. And it's got a collection of a bunch of shorter works that became famous science fiction films, like Who Goes There? The Thought Monster, which became Fiend Without a Face, the original Death Race 2000.
Wow, that's great. That's a
Dr.
great book.
Cyclops is in here. The story that inspired Target Earth, Invasion of the Saucermen, This Island Earth, and The Day the Earth Stood Still. So it's a cool book if you want to read some of these that were... Now, some of them are extremely loosely based. Some of them...
But that's what I find fascinating about them, is that because some of these, you won't even know what movie it turned into unless it tells you.
Yeah.
But it's like, that's cool just to see where the idea came from.
But some of them are surprisingly close. And some of them are fascinating. Like, it's really interesting to read the story Farewell to the Master that The Day the Earth Stood Still was based on and compare it to the movie.
Wow.
It's cool because they're very different, but they're the same.
Cool.
So it's neat. But then there's ones like Invasion of the Saucermen where it's like you guys adapted a sentence from that story, because it's nothing like the movie, and you basically, you literally bought the rights to one sentence from that short story and turned it into a script. But anyway, yeah, it's a cool book. I think it's out of print, but I'm sure there are copies on YouTube. But yeah, The Thing is in here on Amazon. Sorry. So yeah, that's where I first read The Thing, or Who Goes There, I mean.
I hope there is a copy on YouTube. It's just a video of the book sitting on a desk.
I'll do it. I'll make that video and upload it to my YouTube channel. That. So that there is a copy of this on.
There's a copy on YouTube.
I do want to mention. Boring. I do want to mention one thing that made me laugh out loud in The Thing. That for some reason I'd never noticed this before, but after he, when The Thing first busts out the door and he's getting attacked by all the sled dogs, which is always kind of fucked me up as a kid. Like that shot always kind of scared me because I was like, all you see is this big hulking humanoid shadow being devoured by dogs. But anyway, after that occurs, they regroup and they're like, well, did you see it? And the guy just goes, it was too cold to see well.
What?
It was too cold to see.
Okay.
How can it be too cold to see?
Maybe because it's so cold he couldn't stand out there very long to watch? I don't know.
Cold is a feeling. It isn't a thing. Like it was just funny how it was too cold to see well.
Man. Man, be careful driving tonight. It's pretty cold out.
No, through the rest of the movie, I kept thinking like, what happened to my cold? Did somebody grab my cold?
Yeah.
Where'd you get all that cold? And they're just like,
yeah.
Oh, I was laughing. Me and the person I was watching it with thought that was funny.
That's funny.
And there's also a funny scene where the professor literally tells his secretary to make a note of his note. That part got me like, here, make a note of my note. And she does. It's just, make note of my note.
Yes, we spread out and try to determine the size and shape.
Right. Spread out, everybody. We're going to try to figure out the shape of this thing.
Here are the tools, sir.
We were talking about, in the first episode, about the 1947 flying saucer craze, and they bring that up in this movie because they go, oh, gentlemen, we discovered a flying saucer.
Holy cat. Hey. It's almost...
Yeah. Almost a perfect...
It is. It's round.
We finally got one.
We found a flying saucer.
And another guy he's talking about, well, I don't know, gentlemen, I'm reading this. This is from the Army official office, and they say they gave up their investigation of flying saucers because most of them were proven to be hoaxes. And so it was kind of interesting to see them commenting on that. We're kind of used to that now where the movie is sort of, what do you call that, meta? These things don't actually exist, but we're the movie where they do. So this is kind of the first movie of its type for that, where they say, hey, we've debunked UFOs. Come on, we know that.
Yeah.
But, because you've still got an hour of the movie left. So it's like, oh, so all those other ones were fake, but this one.
It acknowledges that these things have happened in our world as far as like a hysteria.
Yeah.
It grounds it in reality. And it's got a couple other slight meta moments too, where, they're handing the one guy a gun and it's like, hey, can you shoot that thing? And he goes, oh yeah. Cause he goes, I saw Sergeant York do it. And he like licks the barrel and whatnot of the gun. And that's a shout out to Howard Hawks' movie, Sergeant York.
Yeah.
And then another one that's kind of like, it's interesting and it's kind of like a throwaway is when they're all scared and waiting at the end, for the thing to come through so they can electrocute it. Scotty, the reporter, says he brings up the fact that, like, have you ever got a picture of something like this? And he brings up like that he was at this execution of these two people And that was like a real case at the time.
Yep.
He goes, did you get a picture of it? And he goes, no, but this one guy did. And he gets cut off and he never finishes the story, but it's because that there was a guy who snuck into the execution with a camera hidden around his ankle and got this picture, like one of the first images of like this famous like couple that were executed.
It was
in
a
the electric
woman.
chair.
It was a woman. It was
Oh,
the
it was
wife.
a woman? Okay.
Yeah. I don't want to get into it. I know exactly what you're talking about, but we don't need to get into all
but
that.
that's a call out to that. So that's like something that was in the news. So
have you ever
it just
seen
has
that photo?
Flavor. I don't know. Actually,
Yeah, I have. It's kind of spooky. They even kind of crack a joke at the expense of Oppenheimer a little bit. Like they kind of make a thing. Oppenheimer. Yeah, sorry. They kind of make a crack at Oppenheimer at one point because they kind of teasing we exploded the atom bomb and or something and.
Oh yeah, and he goes, and that really did a lot for the world. Didn't
Yeah,
it? Or
that's what
the
it
world
was.
was crazy about that.
They were referencing real life things, and I always, it's that whole thing that made Stephen King and Charles Dickens famous because they were some of the few authors to actually dare to just put product names and things. And
one little thing we haven't mentioned was the little man who also plays the Thing while it's shrinking after it's getting electrocuted at the end. And this ties us back into what I was mentioning from the other movie. That actually is played by the little person actor Billy Curtis, who is rumored to maybe have been the man from Another Planet.
The man from Another Planet?
A weird connection. The man from Planet X. So that's kind of an interesting like little connection there that
so he was in one of them.
Kind of happens between these two movies. Yeah, so he was one of them. He was the Thing when the Thing was getting electrocuted and shrinking. So Billy Curtis, he may have been both of our villains tonight. We don't know.
And is one actually a villain?
Yeah. And that's the one that we don't know if he was that character or not. But hey. Anyway, I thought it was interesting, but yeah.
Get that, folks?
Oh, one other quick thing, another tie is that Robert Cornthwaite, who plays Dr. Carrington, who was on all that stuff like Baby Jane and Dr. Detroit, he also had a role as Dr. Flankton in the movie within a movie Mant that Joe Dante did for Matinee. So these two movies kind of tie in a little bit together. So it's kind of interesting. Nice little Mant crossover there.
Yeah. Goddamn. So,
any awards, Ryan?
Yeah, I was just about to let you know that this movie, The Thing from Another World, has not... Or, hold on. The film... The Thing from Another World was not nominated for anything that year. However, it may have been granted the highest honor of all. In 2001, it was inducted into the National Film Registry as an official protected work by the United States government.
Awesome.
So it's down there with Night of the Living Dead and Texas Chainsaw Massacre and Freaks and
I like
Toy
the idea
Story.
that there's little cells or there's little rooms with the film canister sitting in, and then there's two armed guards.
There's a documentary about it. There's a documentary about it. It's not too far from the truth. But keep in mind,
that's awesome.
Our government is actually protecting, for eternity, a copy of Pink Flamingos. So just keep that in mind, folks, that makes you feel good to be an American. The Thing from Another World is an official protected piece of cinematic heritage, according to the National Film Registry, which is obviously, if you have ever read about them, they select a few movies each year, and then they get a copy of them and all the existing original prints and everything of it, and they seal it away in a vault so that if the world is ever destroyed by nuclear missiles, these are what will survive of our cinematic
We've
heritage.
got pink flamingos.
They do it.
I'm not the most patriotic guy in the world, but like whenever I see pink flamingos, I salute.
But, I mean, they do this with other stuff. They also induct songs, books, not the National Film Registry, obviously, but part of the Library of Congress is, like there's Prince songs protected next to the national anthem.
Weird.
And then they've got books, and then they've got albums. Anything they...
Do you think I like big butts protected?
No, but anything they deem of...
What about Die Another Day? Is that movie protected,
anything
Ryan?
they deem of cultural significance is put away in there. So the thing is in there. So I think if...
So Die Another Day is protected.
So if anything, I think that's the highest award because...
Yeah.
Why not? I mean, what...
Next to being genocided into
how much
space.
higher can you get than you're preserved for all time? So fuck the Oscars, fuck the Golden Globes.
So that means at the end of Terminator 3, when they were in that bunker, at the end of Terminator 3, they probably had a copy of Pink Flamingos down there.
Well, wherever this stuff's buried, it's secret. No, it's not. You can actually go there. But yeah, so I just think that's pretty cool. That I personally consider probably the highest honor because, I mean, come on. So,
yeah,
but that's it. No, nothing. No major awards. However, as far as I'm concerned, I give it a solid 4 stars.
Really?
Yep. I think it's.
You're not
just
going 4.5?
No.
You're not going 5? What's the drawback?
Just some of the, like, I feel like it could have been longer. And I don't know. I think it was, there are a lot of like extraneous characters and little things that don't really add up to much.
That's why I give it 4.5. Real quick, I did miss 2 people I wanted to mention that were in it. These are just throwaway moments, but some of the roles that aren't credited is George Fenneman. It plays one of the many crew people there, or scientists or whatever. George Fenneman, of course, was the announcer for Groucho Marx with You Bet Your Life. And the other person that I'm shocked isn't credited, because he's in it a lot. And if you know his voice and know what he looks like, you see him a lot, and he's all over the movie. But it's Paul Frees, the amazing voice actor extraordinaire Paul Frees, who famously is like, Boris Bananoff on Rocky and Bullwinkle. He's the voice of the Haunted Mansion. And he did voices for the Beatles cartoon. He's just a very prolific voice actor, and you'd know it if you heard it. He's even in War of the Worlds. He plays a bit part as a reporter in that. His voice is just unmistakable, and he's all over the movie. So it's very surprising he didn't get a credit, but that's the breaks.
Well, cool.
And now, before giving you the details of the battle, I bring you a warning. Every one of you listening to my voice, tell the world, tell this to everybody wherever they are. Watch the skies everywhere. Keep looking. Keep watching the skies.
The Thing from Another World is available streaming and Blu-ray physical media.
Orange pepper rubber with a tasty beat. Drink Dr. Pepper, Dr. Pepper, 'cause it never lets you down.
Frosty, man. Frosty.
This is Rick, and on behalf of the crew of the Lexaproteus 4, I just wanted to say thank you. The importance of you listening to our show is of extraordinary magnitude. So please like, share, talk about it to your friends, post a comment, anything you would normally do on social medias. You have our gratitude. If you write a review, we'll read it on the air. And once again, smash, hit, whatever the kids say, all the like buttons, and help us defeat Algorithm, the Dark Lord of the universe. Special thanks, as always, goes out to Cadet Joe Whitaker, and tune in next week when we watch 1951's 5.